hockey, soccer, you think of the word polarizing, right? Atlanta's just polarizing altogether. I'm from Atlanta, been born here, raised here, and all my life I've known of just the entire scene being polarizing. Whether you like a player or not, whether you like a coach or not, whether you like a team or not, whether you agree with a move or not, whether you agree with someone's personality or what. I've oftentimes seen this when it comes to the city of Atlanta, and I will say this past weekend has to arguably be the most polarizing I've seen the city get in an extremely long while. What's going on, everybody? My name is Walter Pollard. This is Alpha Male Sports, so we're going to go ahead and dive right into it, okay? Of course, over the weekend, the Atlanta Hawks, they have since hired Kevin Stefanski as their new head coach of the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons do plan on going into the next season with Kevin Stefanski as their head coach, their head play caller. Also, too, Matt Ryan, who also is a polarizing figure in the Atlanta area, of course, is the president of football operations for the Atlanta Falcons. It is argued that he is culprit number one in regards to bringing in Kevin Stefanski to the Atlanta area. So, of course, if you see behind me, I have it written, Stefanski, why him? And I'm going to dive into really everything that I saw over the weekend, from the negatives to the positives. And I'm going to quickly just break down what I know of as far as facts, not on emotions, not on how I feel personally regarding whatever. I'm just going to bring up factual things that I can see, that I can tangibly see and look at as to, number one, why this move was arguably made, as well as what we can look forward to. Because in all honesty, I want everybody to slightly take a beat, okay? I want everybody to sit down, take a breather, because, again, we're looking at, 8 years of not making it to the playoffs. I know the last time that the Atlanta Falcons made it to the playoffs was back in 2018, where we, of course, lost to the Philadelphia Eagles in the divisional round. It's been a drought, in all honesty. It has been a sea of mediocrity for the Atlanta Falcons, and really it's not good to be a Falcon fan, in all honesty. I mean, even in my own household, I have to try to argue as far as being a Falcon fan, and I'm losing. I'm 100% losing in that field. So, again, I'm just going to dive into really what I believe the reason for the Atlanta Falcons hiring Kevin Stefanski, why they hired Matt Ryan as the president of the team, and really why they're headed in the direction that they are headed, because I do believe that we as fans need to stay in fans' places. If you're going to be a fan, remain a fan. If you are going to be a fan, remain a fan. So real quickly, this is one of the videos that I saw over the weekend.
All right. So you're going to tell me that Matt Ryan hired Kevin Stefanski to coach the Atlanta Falcons when, in his previous role with Cleveland, he tried to railroad and undermine the career of Shedeur Sanders, whose father is a Falcons player, probably the most famous Atlanta Falcons player, maybe next to Mike Vick.
Just real quick, I mean, and this is just a snippet of it, but shouts out to Isaac Hayes, because again, I have the utmost respect for Isaac Hayes Jr., just in regards to what he does in the tech field. If you haven't taken a look at Fanbase, he is the creator of the application Fanbase, which rivals that of Instagram and Facebook. And regardless of all of that, again, I do have the most respect for that young man because, again, he is a pioneer of such. But when it comes to football topics, sports, and things of that such, obviously the argument that he poses, which majority of fans that I've looked through Twitter, I've looked through Instagram. I've looked through Facebook. And I think the general consensus that most people argue with is the fact that Kevin Stefanski had, I wouldn't say he tried to railroad Shedeur Sanders, but I do believe that Shedeur Sanders was not Kevin Stefanski's guy. I believe that Shedeur Sanders was not somebody that Kevin Stefanski planned on drafting to the Cleveland Browns. I do believe that Kevin Stefanski had to deal with ownership and the front office saying, we're going to take a chance on him, make something happen with Shedeur Sanders, do something with this young man. We don't believe in the pick that you brought in. And, of course, Kevin Stefanski's pick for the Cleveland Browns was Dillon Gabriel. So here you have an issue where Dillon Gabriel, Shedeur Sanders was the talk of the entire NFL for the first part of the season. I want to say throughout the first 8 or 10 games, the Shedeur Sanders and Dillon Gabriel argument was floating around. And just being completely honest, Atlanta is dadgummit 90% African American. And I want to say that majority of the black folks that I spoke to in regards to that issue all had the same idea in mind, which was he's being done wrong by Kevin Stefanski. He's not being treated correctly by Kevin Stefanski. Kevin Stefanski is a racist. I've heard it all. And I can't help but look at it from the football lens, which is, hey, that wasn't his guy. And I know most coaches in the NFL and in college and in high school, you dig what I'm saying? Most of them, when you're not their guy, they're not focused on you. And also, too, we could even go into as far as positioning. Both Dillon Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders were 3rd and 5th round picks. So they definitely did not have, I wouldn't say they didn't have a shot, but of course that was not the overall goal of Kevin Stefanski, was to get those two guys on the field. So that's besides the point, but obviously that is something that a lot of people in the Atlanta area, that is really reason number one as to why they do not want Kevin Stefanski here in the Atlanta area. And again, also too, another thing that a lot of people bring up is the fact that they feel as though Kevin Stefanski is going to come down and he's going to do the exact same thing to Michael Penix. He's going to try to railroad or derail his career simply because of the fact that he is black. And I want to say I wholeheartedly believe that that is 100% not true. And this is not me defending Kevin Stefanski nor pioneering, standing up and waving the flag for Kevin Stefanski. No. What I am waving the flag for is just thinking outside the box, people actually sitting down and looking at everything before coming to a judgment. This is the second video that, of course, I saw over the weekend as well.
I also wouldn't be shocked with some of the offensive weapons they have in Atlanta that he hits the ground running to start out. He's got to change some things.
I have a bold prediction. Falcons are going to make the playoffs, and he's going to be coach of the year for the third time.
Come on, Daryl. A third time. You got to be pretty special to win it a third time, right?
You know what? Just saying.
You got to have a very, very – you can't just be like, we turned the Falcons around to a 9-win team in that division. It's got to be really, really good for him to –
it is a regular season award, and Bijan Robinson is a combination of Nick Chubb
awesome.
And Kareem Hunt.
So, and I'm going to go through some slides here really quickly because, again, this is just something that I find to be quite interesting, and just in general. So, of course, this is the picture that has come up over the weekend. Of course, Kevin Stefanski, the last 2 seasons with the Cleveland Browns, 8-26. Raheem Morris with the Atlanta Falcons, the last 2 years was 16-8. 16-18. Let me get that straight. Okay. So that, again, is an argument that a lot of people have been making. And again, it's black and white, as you can see. One coach is black, the other one is white. And that's besides the point. But here again, that's what a lot of people have been pointing out. You know, Raheem Morris, why would the Falcons get rid of Raheem Morris and he had a better record as their head coach than Kevin Stefanski. It goes a bit deeper than just wins and losses, people. And I know that sounds crazy to hear, but again, when you look at Raheem Morris and his time here at the Atlanta Falcons, and I want to point out, I wanted Raheem Morris to be here when he first got here. I was like, I think Raheem Morris is the coach for the Atlanta Falcons. I believe that he is the coach for the culture here in Atlanta. I think he'd be the one to get the Atlanta Falcons back on track to where they need to be. Yes, I said that. So I will be 100% comfortable with owning up to what I said. So going over Raheem Morris's career record with the Atlanta Falcons. First of all, as a head coach in general, he was the head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers back in 2009 to 2011. He was the head coach of the Atlanta Falcons, or interim head coach, back in 2020, and the Atlanta Falcons full-time coach in 24 and 25. So he was 17-31 as the head coach of the Buccaneers from 2009 to 2011. He was 4-7 as an interim head coach with the Falcons in 2020. He was 16-18 with the Atlanta Falcons full time. So in total, he was 37-56 as a head coach. Now, you do with the math as you will, but in my honest opinion, I don't believe that he was the best fit as far as head coach. His time with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, he first got the head coaching job. He inherited it from a really tough job with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He was 10-6 in 2010, which was his best season. But then and there was no playoff berth. But then after that, he was fired after a disappointing 2011 season, 4-12. You dig what I'm saying? And then again, as the head coach of the Falcons, interim head coach, he was hired after Dan Quinn was fired. Finished 4-7 as the interim head coach. I believe, again, he had a Ferrari as a head coach and just was not capable of finishing the job. And I'm not bringing up the negatives just to poo-poo on Raheem Morris. I do believe Raheem Morris is one of the best defensive coordinators that I have seen in the NFL. His time with the Rams when they won the Super Bowl, he was there. He was their defensive head coach. I do believe that he is a strong defensive mind in the NFL. He has definitely been at but he's been at the helm of a lot of defenses that have been strong. He was the defensive coordinator for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers before he got the job. So again, I do believe that Raheem Morris is a strong defensive mind, a strong defensive coach. Head coach, not so much. Now, moving on to Kevin Stefanski. And of course, he's definitely had some tough times these last two seasons as a head coach. But first of all, the difference between the two of these gentlemen is that Stefanski is an offensive coach. Raheem Morris is a defensive-minded coach. So let's add that in. And I think what people are missing is the fact that the Atlanta Falcons are having a very tough time offensively, and they need an offensive-minded coach to fix the offense. You dig what I'm saying? Now, Kevin Stefanski was hired by the Cleveland Browns back in 2020. His first season with the Browns, he was 11-5, put the Browns in their first playoff berth since 2002. He had a wild card win versus the Steelers, went on to be the AP Coach of the Year. I think the following season, he definitely had some struggles, inconsistencies at quarterback, injury issues. In 21 and 22, didn't make the playoffs, finished below 500. The following season in 23, he rebounded to another 11-win playoff berth, 11-win season playoff berth. Again, he was the Coach of the Year again that following season. Kevin Stefanski brought systemic offensive balance to the Browns. He was able to put things together when he was with the Browns, and Baker Mayfield was the quarterback of the Browns. He had a balanced play action attack. So again, I can see what the Atlanta Falcons are planning to do. I can see what
I also wouldn't be shocked with some of the
like to do going forward. The Atlanta Falcons want to effectively change the structure and the culture of the offense. not the team altogether. As you can see also in the news today, the Falcons plan on retaining Jeff Ulbrich as the defensive coordinator. So they do. So again, looking at the optics, looking at what the Falcons are doing, not looking at your feelings about the situation. Shedeur is his own man. Shedeur is a grown man. Okay, and if I'm not mistaken, primetime, Deion Sanders, most people know him as a Dallas Cowboy. They do not remember him as a Falcon. Only Falcon fans remember him as a Falcon, okay? And again, that's just how I tell me if I'm lying, argue with your mama, but I'm telling you right now, I think a lot of Falcon fans are upset because of what's happened to Shedeur Sanders, and I do agree that Shedeur definitely did not deserve what happened to him on draft day. I do believe that Shedeur would have been perfectly fine coming in as a starter. And I think he would have been great to effectively change the culture of any team that he would have gotten on, whether it had been the Browns or the Raiders, you dig what I'm saying? Or hell, I mean, any team that needed a quarterback during last year's draft, I think Shedeur Sanders would have been a good fit for that team. But unfortunately, this is that's what happened to him. He is an adult man. How he handled himself in those situations, I take my hat off to him because that was awesome. He did it like a grown man should. And I think that should be studied of how to handle yourself when certain things don't go your way. But a lot of people in Atlanta and America altogether are picking up an offense that has nothing to do with them. Now, again, going back to Kevin Stefanski and the Falcons, I believe that Matt Ryan and the Atlanta Falcons are working on trying to do something. And before I finish, even down to the Matt Ryan issue, he is a very polarizing player when it comes to the Falcons as well, not because of how he played on the field, because arguably he's the best Falcon quarterback of all time, but he's even polarizing because his introduction to the Falcons, folks hated on him because he wasn't Michael Vick, because Michael Vick 2 years prior went to jail because of a dogfighting issue. And people were upset with the Falcons because Vic did not come through and tell the truth to Arthur Blank in the beginning. Vic even admitted that he should have told the truth off the rip. So again, I hate to be the one to do it, but again, I'm just pointing out that I think a lot of people have a lot of misplaced anger and misplaced hate towards the Falcons and Kevin Stefanski. And I think that we should sit down, breathe for a second, give it a rest, and see what we can get, see what happens on the back end. Now, if it falls all apart and Kevin Stefanski stinks up the place, by all means, have at it. I'll even join in with you. Get that sucker out of here. Somebody boo this man. But if it works, what do you say then? I strongly believe that instead of jumping to the first conclusion that you have, wait a second and see what's going on first. My name is Walter Pollard. This is Alpha Male Sports, and I'm signing out. Peace.